Ladies and gentlemen, SBA employees have leaked more secret qualifications for economic injury disaster loan approvals. In this video, I'm going to read you the leaks, ensure you watch the entire video until the end so I can give you a direct phone number where you can reach Tier 2 SBA representatives without having to speak to Tier 1 representatives. And I'm going to give you an email to which your congressional representative or senator can send an inquiry to the SBA to find out more information and to help you with your economic injury disaster loan application. Without further ado, here's the leak. Underwriting criteria. To qualify for an economic injury disaster loan, an applicant should have a credit score of at least 570. The SBA uses the Experian Vantage Score 3.0. People will see an inquiry on their Experian report because SBA uses Experian's calculation of the Vantage Score. However, SBA does not use your FICO score to determine loan eligibility. All three credit bureaus jointly developed the Vantage Score in 2006. It uses a tri-bureau model. Each bureau generates its own version of the score. Many people have reported that their Vantage Score is a lot lower than their FICO score. You can find your Vantage Score on nav.com, credit.com, self.inc. If you have an open bankruptcy, the SBA will decline your application. If your bankruptcy is closed, then the SBA won't disqualify you due to bankruptcies. If the SBA denied your economic injury disaster loan due to bad credit, then request for reconsideration using a co-borrower or co-signer. I actually explain the exact process and provide a link to the form that you use in order to request reconsideration with a co-signer on one of my recent videos. Your business must have suffered economic injury as per the following formula for standard businesses. Subtract COGS, cost of goods sold, from your gross revenue, divide the difference by 2, subtract the grant advance from the quotient. Your difference is the amount of EIDL for which you qualify. For instance, if your company made $500,000 last year and your cost of goods sold is $300,000, $500,000 minus $300,000 equals $200,000. You divide $200,000 by 2 and your quotient is $100,000. If you have 5 employees, you are entitled to a grant equal to $1,000 per employee, a $5,000 grant advance. So you would subtract the $5,000 that you do not have to pay back from the $100,000 quotient. You qualify for an EIDL of $95,000. If you operate a nonprofit, your organization qualifies for a loan for 6 months of operating expenses as per your earnings through the year before January 31st, 2020. If your business activity is collecting rental income from real estate property you own, the SBA does not use the standard formula to calculate the amount of loan for which you qualify. Your EIDL will equal your lost rental payments due to the pandemic. If the final result of any of these formulas is negative or less than the grant for which you are entitled, the SBA will automatically decline your application due to economic injury not sustained. Your business must have been in operation before January 31st, 2020. If a law enforcement agency has arrested you within the past 5 years for a felony or misdemeanor, the SBA will decline your application. The SBA will also decline your application if you are a sole proprietor or you own 50% or more of the business and you are delinquent on child support payments for more than 60 days. The SBA has to verify that your business is a valid operation, either by performing a Google search or reviewing documents that you submit. The SBA will decline your application due to business activity not eligible if you operate any of the following types of businesses. I'm just going to skim through this. Feel free to pause the video and read through each type of business that is not eligible for an economic injury disaster loan. Lending or investment concerns, except for real estate investments held for rental, multi-level sales distribution, pyramid, speculative activities, consumer and marketing cooperatives. However, other cooperatives and small agricultural cooperatives meeting applicable size standards are eligible. Not a small business concern, gambling concerns, casinos, racetracks, etc. Businesses whose purpose for being is gambling, such as casinos, racetracks, poker, parlors, etc., are not eligible for EIDL. Loan packagers who derives more than 1/3 of their annual volume from the preparation of applications seeking financial assistance from SBA, religious organizations, political or lobbying concerns, pawn shops, when 50% or more of previous year's income was derived, Real estate developers, establishments primarily engaged in subdividing real property into lots and developing it for resale on their own account. Life insurance companies, concerns engaged in illegal activities or government-owned concerns except for businesses owned or controlled by a Native American tribe. Concerns with principals incarcerated on parole or probation remain ineligible if the parole or probation is lifted solely because it is an impediment to obtain a loan. Concerns engaged in live performances of or the sale of products, services of a prurient sexual nature. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Businesses considered as hobbies. Concerns involved in change in ownership situations. Concerns which had a substantial change of ownership more than 50% after the impending economic injury became apparent and no contract for sale existed prior to the time are ineligible. If you do not operate any of the aforementioned types of businesses and the SBA declined your loan labeled with a business not eligible denial, then the agency may have misclassified your business. Small businesses can qualify for EIDL amounts of up to $150,000. The SBA had capped the limit to $500,000 prior to this change. Loan processing. After you submit your loan, the SBA will typically run your credit. If you froze your credit report, you may have to unfreeze it and call SBA to have them perform an inquiry. Once the SBA pulls your credit, the agency is sending invitations to create a portal account and accept an offer in 28 days on average. After the SBA sends you a portal invite with a loan offer, you are in the processing stage. SBA has not yet approved your EIDL. Once you accept SBA's offer, your loan application becomes what's called a submitted deal, while the system assigns your application to a loan officer. A loan officer will then decide whether your application is declined, duplicate, or approved. If you remember, I had told you in a previous video that the SBA paid RER Solutions, a Virginia-based government contracting agency, $500 million in order to perform this processing. If a loan officer approves your loan, a Tier 2 representative can now see it approved on a computer screens. The system will send the loan to a senior loan officer. A senior loan officer can override the approval and decline the loan. In the obligating phase, the senior loan officer, who is also known as a team leader, ensures that the loan officer processed the loan properly by auditing the subordinate's work. The system sends the loan to the E-Trans system so it can assign the loan a number. If there is an error called error in obligating, it is typically due to small technical issues or errors in your information that you have to correct. That is why you want to call a Tier 2 representative to verify that you entered all of your information correctly into the application. Once E-Tran assigns a loan number to your application, the status in your portal will change from processing to approved. The time for the status to change from obligated to approved can take anywhere from 10 minutes to as much as 12 hours. Some applicants may see the status change to approved without seeing any closing documents available for your signature and submission. Closing documents will be available once you get an email notifying you of the loan approval. Upon approval, the SBA may send you the email in a few hours or more. Once you sign and submit the EIDL closing documents, the loan goes into the funding stage. Treasury will start the process of wiring your loan into your account through an ACH. At this point, your EIDL funds should be in your bank account within 24 to 48 hours time during business days. You can track the disbursement of your loan using your loan number, which is your financial commitment ID, by registering to CalWeb. I explained to you how to register for CalWeb in a previous video. For the most part, borrowers do not need to produce any documentation to apply for the EIDL. Entries are self-certified. Loan officers have had to contact some people to request documents or clarify information on applications. Borrowers have the option of declining the loan so they only receive the grant that they do not have to pay back. If you only want the grant, do not decline the loan until you receive the funds for the grant, because there is only one application for both the grant and the loan. Many applicants have entered wrong revenue numbers or COGS on their application. The SBA has sent loan amounts that are lower than what an applicant qualifies for due to these data entry errors. If you have made this mistake and have not already accepted an EIDL offer, you can submit federal tax returns for 2018 and 2019 or P&L statements to prove that your numbers are different. Again, it is key that you do not accept the EIDL offer. in the portal if you need to change your business numbers. Some SBA Tier 2 representatives are advising people to accept an offer although their numbers are incorrect, so the applicant can speak to a loan officer who can make the changes. The problem with that advice is that once you accept the loan offer, your application goes into the funding stage where the system directs the Treasury Department to deposit the funds into your bank account. If you feel you need more assistance with your application, feel free to contact your congressman or senator to help you with your application process. SBA may flag and sometimes white glove your application upon congressional inquiry. The agency may even assign a special caseworker during the process for your application. Ensure that your legislative representative contact SBA through the following email address. As promised, here it is: FOCW Congressional Inquiries at SBA.gov. You can contact Tier 2 SBA representatives directly by calling 877-641-8202. This way, you don't have to speak to a Tier 1 representative and ask for a supervisor or ask them to escalate your call. Caveat about Tier 2 representatives. You may get different answers from different Tier 2 representatives. Unfortunately, they are wrong about several things. However, Tier 2 representatives are the highest form of customer support. They can tell you your application status and stage in the process. Other employees can review whatever they document in your account's notes. You may want to keep checking if one told you that he or she requested a change in your account. For instance, if you corrected a wrong social security number or other incorrect information. My personal advice is to write down the name of anyone with whom you speak over at the SBA or at any organization with whom you work. Take the person's first name, take the person's last name. If they don't give out last names, then try to take their employee ID number. Anything that you can use to keep a paper trail and document your correspondence and your communication with the organization. Write down everything that was said. Write down what you want to say before even jumping on the call. That's what's always worked for me. Again, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them in the comments section below. Watch this video right here for more coverage on the economic injury disaster loan and the stimulus package. If you like the video, click the like button and subscribe to stay up to date with my findings. I will do my best to report what no one else will. Talk soon.